ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. So welcome to our Saturday morning session. Today we will try to take mantras 18, 19 and 20th. These are very profound mantras, and therefore I would like to spend a few minutes before that on one of the verses that was verse number, it was verse number 9 in Kathopanishad in part 2, which was talking about tark, which was talking about intellectual prowess. And the part is like this: Nesa tarken matira payena, that this Atma is beyond intellectual prowess. You cannot explain it through rationality, through intellectual power, through arguments. It is not possible to explain it. Actually, tark is the right word in Hindi. ये तर्क के बाहर है, तर्क से इसको समझा नहीं जा सकता. Now, I don't know what is the most appropriate word in English for this, but I can say the intellectual power is not able to explain it properly. Now, we should understand it very, in a slightly in deeper way. You see, life in terms of Atma is of course invisible, intangible, and therefore it is naturally beyond sense organs. It is also beyond mind, and therefore it is beyond intellectual prowess. Intellect cannot explain it. It is what I call it unintelligible in English. But even the life which is in the manifest form is not logically understood. The logic cannot understand that. I cannot explain it properly. Many times we see very kind and nice-hearted people suffering in life, very cruel, very, I would say, arrogant people enjoying life. They are very, prosperous, happy, getting, all the amenities of life. So that is one example. We cannot explain it in a logical way. It's not possible. The intellectual prowess and logic cannot explain it. Now let's take a few other examples. Now, for example, there is a seed in front of you. Now you cannot explain how that seed gives rise to a huge tree, a banyan tree, out of a very small seed. Everything is encoded there. The type of branches, the type of leaves, the type of flowers, the type of fruit, the size of the tree, whether it will be, rising up or whether it will take support of some, wall. All that is encoded in that small little, seed. And that seed ultimately produces new seeds. That tree ultimately produces new seeds of the same variety. So that is also beyond explanation, beyond logic. Science could not produce a single seed so far which can produce this kind of tree, leaves, and then they can produce their own seeds ultimately. At one stage when I was in the West Indies, I was talking to some very well-known scientists, and they actually admitted to me that science has made a lot of, progress, but despite that, we don't even know how a leaf of a tree is formed. Why it has a green color, they cannot explain it. They say that nature is marvelous and we cannot explain even the smallest segment of nature. So that is another example. We take example of man and woman. Now, if we say, okay, the man and woman gave birth to a child, Now the question arises whether the man was first born or woman was first born. If the man was born first, how it can be, the birth can happen without a woman? If the woman was born first, how birth can take place without a man? So it cannot be intellectually, logically explained. The same is the story of, we always talk about, egg and chicken. This is a very another interesting aspect. If you analyze, logically all around the world, more or less 50% births are female, 50% births are male. How that happens? What is that combination? If that combination doesn't work, the world cannot proceed further. But no logic can explain that. In Garud Puran, there is a mention about this, how this happens, but that is a very different aspect. But logically, science cannot explain it. Why there are 50% men, 50% women, roughly. Similarly, there are studies conducted after the Second World War. In the wars, a lot of men die. Most of the death are of men. And then after the wars, the more men are taking birth than female. That has been proved scientifically, done, empirical studies have been done on that. In a society where, say, for example, millions of men died because of the war, then the next generation, the more men would be born than the women, than the females. That is also unexplainable. It cannot be explained logically. You don't know how it happens, who does it, why it happens. Now, let me talk about G. Moore. G. Moore was one of the great, philosopher of UK. And he wrote a book on what is good. Actually, the name of the book is Principia Ethica, ethical principle. The theme of the book is what is good, defining good. Now he wrote a huge book running into more than 700-800 pages, examining every aspect of good and bad, how you define good. And after writing that huge text, at the end he concluded that the good is undefinable, indefinable, and unanalyzable. It cannot be analyzed, it cannot be defined. That is his argument at the end. He went into so many, logical conclusions in the middle, and finally he concluded that it cannot be defined. So even a person like G. Moore, who is absolutely logical in his life, could not reach that argument. You look at the life of Plato. Plato was one of the, person who was totally logical and used to define things logically. And he was also put to shame by one of his colleagues because he was asked to define a human being. And he could not define a human being. What is a human being? He could not. He said human being is an animal with 2 legs, but without, flying capability, without those, what we call punk. So ultimately you see that these things are beyond definition, beyond logic. Even the simple thing, can you define what is yellow color? You can show me a yellow card, you can show me a yellow board, you can show me a yellow wall, yellow paint, but you cannot tell me what is yellow. What is yellow? Nobody can tell me this. The biggest scientists will not be able to tell you. Similarly, what is blue or what is red? They can show me a paper which is red, they can show me a wall, they can show me something else which is red, but they will not be able to tell me what is yellow, what is red, what is blue. It is not possible. So even the tangible world, even the manifest world is beyond logic. And therefore, the things which are beyond perception of our senses have to be illogical, and they cannot be explained by rationality, by intellectual prowess, or by logic. And this is what is coming in the next few mantras, in fact, several mantras of this Upanishad. So we will take the mantra number 18. Now, this mantra is very important because this has also come more or less in the similar form in Bhagavad Gita. Ne jayate mriyate va vipshitayam kutsitan vabhuv kaschit ajo nitya sasvato ayam purano ne hanyate hanyamane sarire. Now these things which are coming here are beyond logic. Now we do not see in this world things without beginning and without end. We are born, we die, our bodies are born, we are dying. We see a building is made, ultimately it decays, it is destroyed. We see a animal is born and animal dies. We see a river begins and at some stage it dies, it dries up, something happens, maybe earthquake, maybe climate change, something happens. The day begins and the day ends, the sun rises and the sun sets. So all these things happen. So there's nothing like no beginning, no end. Now here it says, ne jayate na mrete. The thing which is not born ever and which has no death. So it is neither having the time of birth, nor the the father and mother, nor a time of death. It is, beyond our sense perception. We cannot imagine this thing. But this is what the soul is. The Chaitanya, the consciousness, is never born, it never dies, it has no father and mother, and there is no cause of its death. So this is the first part of it. Then it says, Kutsit, that is, there is no region. There is absolutely no cause behind it. Now it is difficult for us to believe something which is without cause. Now why do we go to study? Because we want to earn our livelihood. So we go to school. We have certain obligations. So we go to office. We go and meet some people because there's some reason for that. We organize a conference because we want to bring together experts on that field and have debate. So everything in life has a cause. Now here it says there's no cause at all. Whatever, there's absolutely no cause why it happened. It is without cause. And it does not give any, it does not give birth to any cause. So it is absolutely, unbelievable for our mental frame to believe that something is without birth, something is without death, something is born without any cause, something which does not give any, does not cause anything, or does not lead to any cause ultimately. So this is what the soul is. These are the characteristics of the soul. Then it says, Ayo Nityam Sasvato Yam Purano. Ajo Nityam. Ajo Nityam means it is old, it is Nityam, all the time existing. Now Saswat and Nityam, they are the same word, but no, they're difference. Nitya is the thing which exists forever. Now normally we have timelines that, it existed long time back. No, Actually, the time originates in that. Like we have this consciousness in ourselves. So the time originates in our consciousness. We analyze time, the past, present, and future because of that consciousness. Once our consciousness goes, there's no past, no present, no future. This is also happens in the deep sleep when the consciousness is taking complete rest. At that time, there's no past, no present, no future. So the time actually arises in consciousness, and therefore it is Nityam. Nityam means this is the one which is the giving birth to time. That it is not subjected to the vagaries of time, but it is giving birth to time. The time originates there, time proceeds there and goes beyond there. Then Sashwato ayam Purano. Now Sashwat is also the same. Generally it is interpreted same, which is, imperishable, all the time existing. But Shashwat basically means that things which are not subject to any change. Everything perishes slowly, slowly in life. Our body decays, a flower decays over time, a plant decays, a house decays over time. But this Sashwat, this Chaitanya, this consciousness, it does not decay. It stays all the time without any decay. It remains constant. So that is Sashwat. And Purano means it. We don't know when it originated, how it originated. We don't have no idea about its origin. So these are the qualities of the soul. न जायते, न म्रियते, न कुश्चन, no cause. Ajo nityam, ajo nitya, saswato ayam purano. So these are the qualities which are beyond human intellect. Human intellect cannot grasp them because the whole intellectual process arises from that consciousness. The consciousness is the foundation where the mind and intellects come from. The mind and intellect take their birth from that consciousness. We will not have mind and intellect as soon as our consciousness leaves us. So the consciousness cannot be explained by that intellectual prowess because it comes out of the consciousness. The mind comes out of consciousness. The intellectual prowess comes out of consciousness. The logic and rationality comes out of there. And that is why it cannot be explained. And that is why it is unintelligible. Na hanyate hanya mane sarire. Matlab, when the body is destroyed, this consciousness is not destroyed. This remains constant. This is all the time existing. Now we can explain it with an example of, the Akash. That is the best thing, nearest to the soul, nearest to the consciousness, which we can take to explain. Now, in Akash, we create a house, we create a mall, we create a road, we create, whatever we want to create. A godown or a toilet or, a battlefield or an aircraft, whatever is done in the space, in the Akash. Now, because of that creation, the Akash is not impacted. The Akash exists inside the house, it exists outside the house. It also exists in the walls which separate the two. The walls cannot exist without Akash. So Akash remains undisturbed. In the Akash, trillions of sounds are moving. We see all these cell phones, all these radios, all these television systems. They are all operating. Their all sounds are there in Akash. In the Akash, missiles are rolling. The aircrafts are moving. In the Akash, you see rain is coming. Thunder is coming, wind is blowing fast, sand is blowing very fast, but Akash remains undisturbed. Akash absolutely, is beyond any change, any alteration, any destruction. So, if we see this Akash and its functioning, how it remains unaffected despite so many turbulences, hmm, turbulence of strong wind, turbulence of heavy rain, snowfall, millions, trillions of sounds, all these radio stations, all these, television stations, all the cell phone sounds, all the satellite phones, all the people who are playing music and shouting and talking, all that is there in the space. Still, our remote control works. The space is transmitting the signal without any disturbance. Still, we can take photographs from moon of the earth because the space is absolutely undisturbed. So the space remains undisturbed. Similarly, the soul remains completely undisturbed with all the happenings around our body, around in the world, uh, other people, the other systems which are operating, the soul remains undisturbed. It is not disturbed at all. And that is why it is called Sashwato, it is called Nityam, and it is uh, without birth, without death, because it is all the time constantly pervading the entire existence. So this is the meaning of this mantra number 18, which appears in Bhagavad Gita more or less in the same way. It is in the second chapter, mantra number 20 in Bhagavad Gita. Now, in this context, I would also like to elaborate a little bit on the power of intellect and mind. This has been discussed in great detail in Shanti Parv of Mahabharata. Those saints have analyzed this in a very, profound way. And I am really impressed by what they have written here. In Mahabharata and Shanti Parv, this is the 255 chapter and verse number 9, which says in English like this: this is the qualities of mind. What are the qualities of mind? Steadiness, the skill of argument, memory, confusion, imagination, the ability to pardon, resolution, fickleness, and emotions. These are 9 characteristics of mind. Exactly 9 characteristics of mind have been examined by our rishis in long, long back in time. I repeat them. Steadiness, that you are vacillating or you are steady. The skill of argument, how we argue on various issues. The memory, the things we learn, read, see, they go in our memory. Confusion, of course, it causes confusion. Imagination, the ability to pardon. Resolution, finding a final solution to the problem. Fickleness, that is, vacillation. And emotions, these are the 9 characteristics of the mind. So this is in the Shanti Parv, chapter 255, verse number 9. Now, in the same Parv, there is also an analysis of our intellect, buddhi. Now, this is the Shanti Parv, chapter 255, verse number 10. It says the intellect, what the intellect can do. To discriminate between good and bad. That is the first quality, discrimination. To judge what should we do, what should not we do. To differentiate that this is a flower, this is an artificial flower, This is wood, this is iron, this is stone, to differentiate, to evaluate things. Okay, you have balance sheet of three different companies, you evaluate them. This company has so many assets, so much profit. Another company, so many assets, so much profit. So you differentiate, you evaluate the humans also. Okay, you evaluate X. These are the qualities of X. These are the, negative points of X. These are the positive points of Y. These are the negative points of Y. So we do the evaluation all the time. We evaluate a lot of things. To resolve doubt, the mind gives rise to the doubts, and intellect tries to resolve those doubts, that by judging what is good, what is bad, what should be done, what should not be done, what is ethical, what is moral, all that goes into the analysis of intellect, and then it decides and removes the doubt. And then finally, to decide, after removal of doubt, the decision. So these are the five characteristics of the intellect. I repeat them: to discriminate between good and bad, to judge, to differentiate, to evaluate, to resolve doubt, and to decide. These are the five qualities of intellect. Now, all these 9 qualities of mind and 5 qualities of intellect will not be able to explain what is contained in the verse which we just saw, the mantra number 18 of the first chapter and second, what we call here, Valli, second Valli of Kathopanishad. So these things are beyond these powers of mind and intellect, because these powers originate in that consciousness. They take place into that consciousness. The time also originates there, and therefore these things are beyond time. Now we'll take the next mantra number 19. Hanta chen mante hantu, hat sren mante hatam, ubho to ne vijanito nayam hanti nahanyate. Now this mantra also appears in Bhagavad Gita with slight, change of words. It is 2:19. 2:19. So this is where it appears. So this mantra says, again, this is also beyond the intellectual power, beyond the arguments, beyond the logic, beyond rationality. It says that somebody feels that I'm killing somebody else, then he is mistaken. Nobody can kill anybody else. He is not capable of killing anybody else. And somebody feels that he has been killed by somebody else, that is also mistaken, because nobody is capable of being killed by anybody else. Now the reference is to the soul, not to the body. The body can be killed. The body can be, destroyed. But reference is to the soul, that you cannot kill anybody's soul. It is not possible. You cannot kill that consciousness. Nobody can kill that. And if somebody thinks that he has done so, it is not correct. He is absolutely mistaken. Similarly, nobody can kill your consciousness. And if somebody thinks he has done so, he is also mistaken. Because this soul, this consciousness, this inner self, where everything originates and everything dissolves, it cannot be killed and it cannot kill. It cannot be killed and it cannot kill. That is not possible. Ne hanyate, ne hanti. Hanti and hanyate. Both are not possible. So this is again the same, beyond logic, beyond intellectual prowess. Now, we always believe that, yes, I have killed him, somebody has murdered him. Now, he can murder the body, he can kill the body. but he cannot kill him. The body is not he. The body originates in that consciousness. When the conception takes place, the consciousness comes in. The consciousness gives rise to the fetus. And then the fetus slowly grows and it develops all these, sense organs, hands, eyes, ears, nose, and then slowly it develops mind. All these originate into that consciousness. That consciousness gives rise to the entire body system. The food turns into body because of that consciousness. The food we eat, it becomes our body part. It keeps adding to our body. The old and dilapidated part of the body keep, getting destroyed. They are like losing all the time. The cells are losing and new cells are created. Similarly, the old skin is going away and the new skin is coming out. Old bones are giving away and the new bones are coming out. The old blood is getting out and new blood is coming in. All this is happening in that consciousness. That consciousness is the foundation in which all this is happening. And that is why nobody can kill it. Nobody can, the consciousness cannot kill anybody also. That is also the case. Like Akash. Nobody can destroy Akash. Nobody can destroy Akash. Similarly, Akash cannot destroy anything. It remains, constantly in the same state without any action. Things come and go in that Akash. It's like a TV screen on which all kinds of films come. You have a sport event, and then you have a dancing event, you have a film event, you have a news event, and then it comes some musical event or some, some other kinds of events come and go there. All types of things come, but the screen remains the same. Similarly, the Akash remains unaffected. Exactly the same way, the soul remains unaffected. Everything arises in that consciousness. The time arises there, past, present, and future. The body arises there. The sense organs arise there. The intellectual and the mind, all these capabilities arise there. And then finally, they dissolve into that. So that is the source of everything which we see. Therefore, it cannot be destroyed. It cannot destroy anything else. And similarly, it has no birth, no death. It has no cause of its origin. It has no depreciation of any nature. It's Sashwat. It's Nityam. So all that is explained here in these two verses. So I would think I'll conclude here today, and we will take verse number 20 onwards next time. Thank you so much.